How to understand everything about Greek mythology. Greek mythology is a vast and fascinating collection of myths, legends, and stories that shape the beliefs, culture, and philosophy of ancient Greece. It explores the lives of gods, heroes, and mortals, often explaining natural phenomena, human nature, and the origins of the world. Some key aspects of Greek mythology include the 12 Olympians were the major deities of ancient Greek mythology, ruling from Mount Olympus. They played key roles in myths, shaping human destiny and natural phenomena. While the list varies slightly, the most commonly recognized Olympians are 1. Zeus, Jupiter, king of the gods, god of sky, thunder, and justice. Weapon, thunderbolt. Symbols, eagle, oak tree, scepter. Ruled over gods and mortals, enforcing cosmic order. 2. Hera, Juno, queen of the gods, goddess of marriage, women, and family. Symbols, peacock, cow diadem. Wife of Zeus, often depicted as jealous of his many affairs. 3. Poseidon, Neptune, god of the sea, god of oceans, earthquakes, and horses. Weapon, trident. Symbols, horses, dolphins, waves. Known for his volatile temperament. 4. Demeter, Ceres, goddess of agriculture, goddess of harvest, fertility, and grain. Symbols, sheaf of wheat, cornucopia, torch. Her sorrow over Persephone's abduction explains the seasons. 5. Athena, Minerva, goddess of wisdom, war strategy, and crafts. Symbols, owl, olive tree, aegis, shield with Medusa's head, sprang fully formed from Zeus's head. 6. Apollo, god of the sun and arts, god of light, music, prophecy, and healing. Symbols, lyre, laurel wreath, sun chariot. Twin brother of Artemis, associated with reason and harmony. 7. Artemis, Diana, goddess of the hunt, goddess of the moon, hunting, and wilderness. Symbols, bow and arrow, deer, crescent moon. Twin sister of Apollo, protector of young women. 8. Ares, Mars, god of war, god of brutal war and bloodshed. Symbols, spear, vulture, dog. Unlike Athena's strategic warfare, Ares represented chaos and violence. 9. Aphrodite, Venus, goddess of love and beauty, goddess of love, desire, and beauty. Symbols, dove, seashell, myrtle. Born from sea foam, had many lovers, including Ares. 10. Hephaestus, Vulcan, god of fire and blacksmiths, god of fire, metalworking, and craftsmanship. Symbols, anvil, hammer, tongs. The only physically imperfect god, married to Aphrodite. 11. Hermes, Mercury, messenger of the gods, god of travel, trade, thieves, and communication. Symbols, winged sandals, caduceus, staff with snakes, hat, guide of souls to the underworld. 12. Dionysus, Bacchus, or Hestia, Vesta. Dionysus, god of wine, pleasure, and madness. Hestia, goddess of the hearth, home, and family. Dionysus was often included in later lists, replacing Hestia. Each god had temples, rituals, and festivals dedicated to them, deeply influencing Greek society. Do you have a particular interest in any of these deities? Greek creation myth, the origin of the cosmos. The ancient Greeks had a fascinating creation myth that explained how the universe, gods, and humanity came into existence. Unlike a single creator deity, Greek mythology describes a chaotic beginning, followed by the emergence of gods and cosmic order. 1. Chaos, the primordial void. In the beginning, there was only chaos, an empty, dark void. From this nothingness emerged the first primordial beings. 2. The primordial deities. From chaos, several fundamental forces came into existence. Gaia, earth, the mother of all life. Uranus, sky, the heavens, who became Gaia's partner. Tartarus, underworld, a deep abyss of torment and chaos. Eros, love/desire, the force that drives creation and procreation. Nyx, night, and Erebus, darkness, the embodiment of night and shadow. Nyx gave birth to ether, light, and Hemera, day, bringing light to the world. 3. Uranus and Gaia, the first rulers. Gaia and Uranus had many children, known as the Titans, the Cyclopes, and the Centimanes, hundred-handed giants. However, Uranus feared his powerful children and imprisoned them deep within Gaia. Enraged, Gaia devised a plan. She gave her youngest Titan son, Cronus, a sickle, and he castrated Uranus, overthrowing him. From Uranus' blood, monsters and beings like the Furies and giants were born. His severed genitals fell into the sea, and from the sea foam, Aphrodite emerged. 4. The Age of the Titans. Cronus became the new ruler of the universe, along with his Titan siblings. He married his sister Rhea, and they had children, but a prophecy foretold that one of his children would overthrow him. Fearing this, Cronus swallowed each of his children at birth, except for one. Rhea, desperate to save her youngest son Zeus, tricked Cronus by giving him a stone wrapped in cloth instead of the baby. She hid Zeus on Mount Ida in Crete, where he was raised in secret. 5. The Titanomachy, War of the Gods. When Zeus grew up, he forced Cronus to vomit up his siblings, Poseidon, Hades, Hestia, Demeter, and Hera. He then led a war against the Titans, known as the Titanomachy. Zeus and his siblings, aided by the Cyclopes and Centimanes, defeated Cronus and the Titans, imprisoning them in Tartarus. Zeus and his brothers divided the world. Zeus ruled the sky, Poseidon ruled the sea, Hades ruled the underworld. Thus, the Olympian gods took power, marking the end of the Titans' reign. 6. The creation of humanity. The gods then created humans, though different myths exist. Prometheus, a Titan who sided with Zeus, shaped humans from clay and gave them fire, angering Zeus. As punishment, Zeus chained Prometheus to a rock where an eagle eternally ate his liver. In another myth, Zeus punished humanity with Pandora, the first woman, who opened a forbidden jar, releasing evil, suffering, and death into the world. Only hope remained inside. Themes and significance. Greek creation myths emphasize struggle, rebellion, and power transitions, showing how order emerged from chaos. Unlike some traditions where a single deity creates the world, Greek mythology presents a cosmic cycle of conflict, reflecting human nature and history, heroes and their journeys in Greek mythology. Greek mythology is filled with legendary heroes who embarked on epic quests, faced monstrous foes, and often battled their own flaws. These myths emphasize courage, fate, divine intervention, and personal transformation. Here are some of the greatest Greek heroes and their legendary journeys. 1. Heracles, Hercules, the 12 labors. The strongest hero of Greek mythology, Heracles was the son of Zeus and a mortal woman, Alcmene. His story is one of redemption and endurance. The journey. Hera, jealous of Heracles, caused him to go mad and kill his wife and children. Seeking purification, he was given 12 impossible labors by King Eurystheus, including slaying the Nemean lion, whose skin was impenetrable, capturing the golden hind of Artemis, a sacred deer, cleaning the Augean stables, which had never been cleaned, completed in one day by diverting rivers, capturing Cerberus, the three-headed hound of the underworld. Lesson: Heracles' journey symbolizes strength, endurance, and redemption through hardship. 2. Perseus, slayer of Medusa. Perseus was the son of Zeus and Danae. He is known for his cunning and bravery. The journey. King Polydectes tricked Perseus into setting out on an impossible mission to slay Medusa, the Gorgon who could turn men to stone with her gaze. With help from Athena and Hermes, Perseus obtained a reflective shield, winged sandals, and Hades' invisibility helmet. He beheaded Medusa using the shield to avoid looking directly at her. On his return, he saved Andromeda from a sea monster and later used Medusa's head to defeat his enemies. Lesson: Perseus' story highlights courage, intelligence, and divine guidance in overcoming challenges. 3. Theseus, slayer of the Minotaur. Theseus was the son of Aegeus, king of Athens, or Poseidon, depending on the version. The journey. Athens was forced to send young tributes to the labyrinth of King Minos, where they were devoured by the Minotaur. Theseus volunteered to end this cycle. Ariadne, Minos' daughter, gave him a ball of thread to navigate the labyrinth. He slayed the Minotaur and led the captives to freedom. Upon returning to Athens, he forgot to change his sails, leading his father to believe he was dead and jump off a cliff, giving the Aegean Sea its name. Lesson: Theseus' journey represents bravery, cleverness, and leadership, but also tragic carelessness. 4. Jason, the quest for the Golden Fleece. Jason was the leader of the Argonauts and heir to the throne of Iolcus. The journey: Jason was sent on an impossible quest by King Peleus to retrieve the Golden Fleece. He assembled the Argonauts, including Heracles, Orpheus, and Atalanta. He faced challenges like clashing rocks, fire-breathing bulls, and an army of warriors. With help from Medea, a sorceress who fell in love with him, he obtained the fleece by drugging the serpent guarding it. However, Jason later betrayed Medea, leading to his downfall. Lesson: Jason's journey is one of teamwork, ambition, and tragic consequences of betrayal. 5. Odysseus, the Odyssey journey home. Odysseus was a clever Greek king and warrior who fought in the Trojan War. His 10-year journey home is told in Homer's Odyssey. The journey: After the Trojan War, Odysseus faced divine wrath and countless obstacles. The Cyclops Polyphemus blinded the one-eyed giant after tricking him with wine. Circe's Island: His men were turned into swine. He used Hermes' help to free them. The Underworld: Consulted the dead prophet Tiresias for guidance. The Sirens: He plugged his men's ears with wax and tied himself to the mast. Scylla and Charybdis: Navigated between a six-headed monster and a deadly whirlpool. Calypso's Island: Spent years as a captive before finally being released. Returning home, disguised himself as a beggar, then defeated the suitors trying to take his wife Penelope. Lesson: Odysseus embodies intelligence, resilience, and perseverance in overcoming both physical and mental trials. 6. Achilles, the warrior of the Trojan War. Achilles was the greatest warrior of Homer's Iliad, son of a mortal king and the sea nymph Thetis. The journey: His mother dipped him in the river Styx, making him invulnerable, except for his heel. He fought in the Trojan War, where he was nearly unstoppable. After his best friend Patroclus was killed, he re-entered battle in a rage and slaughtered Hector, the Trojan prince. He was killed by Paris, who shot him in his heel, the only vulnerable spot on his body. Lesson: Achilles' story highlights glory, fate, and the limits of invincibility. Common themes in heroic journeys: the call to adventure, a challenge that the hero must face. Divine assistance, help from gods, or sometimes divine opposition. Trials and monsters, overcoming obstacles, proving worth. The ultimate battle, a defining confrontation. Return and transformation, the hero returns changed, often wiser. Each Greek hero reflects different virtues: strength, intelligence, courage, or endurance, and their journeys mirror human struggles with fate, morality, and personal growth. The Greek underworld, the realm of the dead. In Greek mythology, the underworld is the realm of the dead, ruled by Hades, the god of the underworld. It is a dark and mysterious place where souls go after death. Unlike the Christian concept of hell, the Greek underworld was not purely a place of punishment, but rather a realm of the afterlife with different regions for different kinds of souls. 1. Entry to the underworld. When a person died, their soul, left their body and traveled to the underworld. To enter, the soul had to be buried with a coin, obol, placed under the tongue or on the eyes. Pay Charon, the ferryman, to cross the river Styx or Acheron. If unpaid, the soul was left to wander the shores for eternity. 2. The 5 rivers of the underworld. The underworld was surrounded by 5 rivers, each representing different aspects of death. Styx, the river of oaths and invincibility, where Achilles was dipped. Acheron, the river of pain and sorrow, where Charon ferried souls. Cocytus, the river of wailing, where souls lamented. Phlegethon, the river of fire, leading to Tartarus. Lethe, the river of forgetfulness, where souls drank to erase their memories before reincarnation. 3. The judges of the dead. Upon arrival, souls faced 3 judges who decided their fate. Rhadamanthus judged the virtuous souls, sending them to Elysium. Minos had the final say in difficult cases. Aeacus judged those from Greece and Asia Minor. 4. The 3 realms of the dead. After judgment, souls were sent to one of 3 destinations. A. Elysium, Elysian fields, the paradise, a place for heroes, righteous mortals, and those favored by the gods. A land of eternal happiness, music, and feasts. Some souls could be reincarnated. After 3 virtuous lives, they entered the Isles of the Blessed, a higher paradise. B. Asphodel Meadows, the ordinary afterlife. Where most souls resided, neither good nor evil. A shadowy, dreamlike existence where spirits wandered aimlessly. C. Tartarus, the pit of punishment. Worse than Hades, a deep abyss of torment. Souls guilty of extreme crimes, hubris, treachery against the gods, suffered eternal punishment. Notable prisoners. Tantalus, forever thirsty and hungry, with food and water always just out of reach. Sisyphus, forced to roll a boulder uphill, only for it to roll back down for eternity. Ixion, bound to a flaming, spinning wheel. The Titans, some were imprisoned here after their defeat by Zeus. 5. Cerberus, the guardian of the underworld. A 3-headed dog that guarded the entrance to prevent the living from entering and the dead from escaping. Heracles' final labor was to capture Cerberus without using weapons. 6. Famous journeys to the underworld. A. Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus, the greatest musician, descended into the underworld to rescue his dead wife, Eurydice. He charmed Hades and Persephone with his music. They agreed to let Eurydice go, but Orpheus could not look back at her until they reached the surface. At the last moment, he turned around, and she vanished forever. B. Heracles and Cerberus. As part of his 12 labors, Heracles descended into Hades to capture Cerberus. He wrestled the beast into submission and brought it to the surface before returning it. C. Odysseus' journey, Nicaea. Odysseus traveled to the underworld in Homer's Odyssey. He consulted the prophet Tiresias, who warned him about his return journey. He met the spirits of Achilles, Agamemnon, and his mother. D. Aeneas and the underworld, Aeneid. The Trojan hero Aeneas journeyed into the underworld in Virgil's Aeneid. He met his deceased father and saw visions of Rome's future. His journey was modeled after Odysseus, but was meant to glorify Roman destiny. 7. Hades, the god of the underworld. Brother of Zeus and Poseidon. Not evil, but cold and just, ensured the dead stayed in their proper place. Married to Persephone, whom he abducted, leading to the myth of the seasons. Demeter's sorrow when Persephone is in the underworld causes winter. 8. Key themes of the underworld. The inevitability of death. All souls must pass through the underworld. Judgment and morality. Souls receive their due rewards or punishments. Memory and forgetting. The river Lethe symbolizes the cleansing of past lives. The journey of the soul. Many heroes descend into the underworld for wisdom, redemption, or lost loved ones. The Greek underworld reflects the Greek view of death as mysterious, inevitable, and structured, with elements of both reward and punishment. Fate and prophecy in Greek mythology. Fate and prophecy were central themes in Greek mythology, reflecting the belief that destiny was inevitable and that even gods could not escape it. The Greeks saw fate as a force beyond human control, shaping the lives of both mortals and immortals. 1. The Moirai, Fates, the weavers of destiny. The Moirai, or Fates, were 3 powerful goddesses who controlled the destiny of all beings, including gods. The 3 Fates. Clotho, the spinner, spun the thread of life, deciding when a person was born. Lachesis, the measurer, measured the length of life, determining one's destiny. Atropos, the cutter, cut the thread of life, deciding when death occurred. Even Zeus, king of the gods, could not change the will of the Moirai. 2. Prophecy and oracles, the voice of fate. Prophecy played a crucial role in Greek myths, guiding heroes and warning rulers. Oracles were believed to communicate the will of the gods. The Oracle of Delphi. The most famous oracle was at Delphi, where the priestess Pythia, under Apollo's influence, delivered cryptic prophecies. Many heroes and kings sought her guidance, but the answers were often vague or misleading. 3. Famous myths of fate and prophecy. A. Oedipus, the man who could not escape fate. A prophecy foretold that Oedipus would kill his father and marry his mother. To avoid this, his parents, King Laius and Jocasta, abandoned him as a baby. Oedipus was raised by adoptive parents, but when he learned of the prophecy, he fled, unknowingly running toward his fate. On his journey, he killed a man in a dispute who was actually his father. He later solved the riddle of the Sphinx, became king of Thebes, and married Jocasta, his mother. When the truth was revealed, Jocasta hanged herself, and Oedipus blinded himself in despair. Lesson: fate is inescapable, and attempts to avoid it can lead one straight into it. B. Achilles, destined for glory or a long life. His mother, Thetis, was told that Achilles had two possible fates: live a long but uneventful life, die young but be remembered forever. Achilles chose glory, fought in the Trojan War, and was ultimately killed by Paris, fulfilling his fate. Lesson: fate often forces difficult choices between greatness and safety. C. King Croesus, the misinterpreted prophecy. The oracle of Delphi told King Croesus of Lydia, "If you go to war, a great empire will fall." Croesus, believing he would defeat the Persians, went to war. The prophecy came true, but the fallen empire was his own. Lesson: prophecies are often ambiguous and deceptive. D. Perseus, fate and the power of oracles. King Acrisius was told that his grandson Perseus would one day kill him. To prevent this, Acrisius locked his daughter Danae in a tower, but Zeus visited her in the form of golden rain, and she gave birth to Perseus. Years later, Perseus accidentally killed Acrisius in a discus competition, proving that fate always finds a way. Lesson: even extreme measures cannot change a destined outcome. 4. The role of hubris, defying fate and the gods. Many Greek myths show mortals who tried to challenge fate or the gods, only to suffer tragic consequences. A. Cassandra, the prophetess no one believed. Apollo gave Cassandra the gift of prophecy, but when she rejected his love, he cursed her so no one would ever believe her. She foresaw the fall of Troy and warned the Trojans about the Trojan horse, but they ignored her. She was captured after Troy fell and later murdered, fulfilling her tragic fate. B. The fall of Troy, a fate foretold. The destruction of Troy was foretold long before it happened. Paris' judgment, choosing Aphrodite over Hera and Athena, led to the war. Even though the Trojans fought bravely, the city was destined to fall. C. Sisyphus, the man who cheated death. Sisyphus tricked Thanatos, death, and escaped the underworld twice. As punishment, Zeus condemned him to roll a boulder up a hill forever, only for it to roll back down every time he neared the top. Lesson: defying fate or the gods always leads to eternal punishment. 5. The Greek view of fate. Fate was absolute. Even gods like Zeus could not fully override it. Humans had free will, but their choices often led them to fulfill their destiny. Prophecies were warnings, but rarely could they be avoided. Misinterpretation led to downfall. Many kings and heroes misunderstood or ignored fate, leading to tragedy. Modern reflections. Greek ideas of fate and prophecy continue to influence literature and philosophy, raising questions like, is destiny fixed, or do we shape our own path? Are warnings about the future meant to be avoided, or do they guide us toward fulfillment?